Hello, everyone. My name is GR Reddy. I am the founder of Husys Consulting. Today, this session is exclusively for people who are actually looking for jobs. Probably maybe the impact of COVID and what has actually happened with most of the jobs. So what I'm going to do is to kind of take you to kind of a journey of how a job search can be done. This is actually, I'm taking a session which is actually part of a workshop that we do. This workshop is usually done for a full day, with people whom we work on an outplacement activity where the companies, when they reduce the manpower, or they actually hand over them to us as a part of the outplacement activity to help them in their career journey. So what we are actually trying to do here is I'm going to take that as a base as some of the specific areas of the slides, so that there is a guided process that we spend time, which is more productive for each one of you. And once I finish these inputs, you may ask questions. Maybe we can actually spend some time together in answering the question. And before I actually start, I would like you to take a poll that I'm launching, so that this will help me to be able to understand you all better, so that whenever I'm using any examples or anything that related, at least I relate it to some extent with you all. Okay, so just I'll leave it for some time. Please do take the poll as there are a few questions. And then once it's done, maybe we can look at the results, and that will give me a direction to be able to share further inputs based on the profile of the people who are on this call today. Chaitanya, does it allow it?
Yes.
No, but it's actually showing the results, isn't it? For me, at least. Can you see the polls? Any one of you that you're able to?
Yes, dear.
And you can take the poll as well, right? Okay, great. Thank you. I'll keep it for a minute. So primarily, Husys has been doing work in a specialized field called outplacement. So this outplacement is a service which we provide to many of the companies when they actually reduce their manpower for various reasons. Maybe it's because of the downturn in the market, or if there is a merger and acquisition, or maybe sometimes the positions may become redundant. So most of the time, it is very difficult situation that one goes through. Suddenly, there is a job loss. But with this, we kind of work with many of those employees who have been retrenched. We take them, we help them. We spend a lot of time in actually coaching them to be able to move to the next level of career. And there are a lot of insights that we learned. And today, there are only, let's say, very few people who are here. I want you to take that advantage because you can ask questions. We can actually clarify those questions, which is specific to you. The lesser the number is always better, because we can have more interaction on this call. And any inputs that you may want to share, any innovative ideas that you also have, please do share, because it will actually help. Here, you're not here only that we are sharing with you and you're going to learn just that, but we all have to learn together, because there are a lot of insights that you can always gain from many people across on the virtual space. So I would like you to please do take inputs from others as well. And if you can share any of the inputs, I would encourage you to give your inputs during the program, right? So I think we are almost done with the poll. There are only a few more left to be polled. So I will, so if you haven't done, please just do it. Maybe another 10 seconds, I will hold on. So almost 85% of the people voted so far. So I'm just waiting for a few more if anybody left. Okay, so that's it. That's the poll, and I would like to share the results. Before we go on, it is always important to know the people who are around here. Okay, so here are the polls. Are you currently impacted by COVID? Yes, there are 69%, so 11 of them actually have an impact. So definitely we would really focus on, in this time, what should be done and how it should be done. And also, if you see the experience levels, we have people with varied experience levels, which is quite a mix actually. So you have people with 1 to 0, 0 to 1 year experience, 2 to 4, 5 to 10 years, and 10 plus years. So today, probably we will spend some time, which may be helping you as a guideline for each one of you. And also, the question that I asked, do you think you would alternative career or jobs that you can try? So most of them said not sure. So we will spend time on that. Why did we actually ask you this question? And for any other any industries that your skills can be utilized. So I think quite a bit of them mentioned that there are different industries that you can really utilize. I think that's a kind of an indication for you that job search can be much more broader and wider. Okay, and without doing a job search, how many companies you can list as a target? Okay, so there is only two extremes that you find: somebody who's up to 10 and rest of them 20 plus. So the reason why we asked, we will spend some time on this. Of course, with the research, I'm sure there are people who are willing to really look at up to 20 companies that they can search. We will see how you can actually do a job search, etc. And in terms of a company search, and how many people that you can reach out. So at least 5, 10, 20, 21. So I think the more is merrier, definitely. So I'm going to stop this poll sharing here. I hope you got an understanding of the people who are actually on the call. So I will spend some time giving you some basic ideas in terms of job search related. And then we will go back to your specific questions, because I would like to answer to your specific questions, because since we are a smaller team, it is always important. And see, always, if you are able to speak, you get an opportunity. If you're not able to speak, then you lose an opportunity. So that's my advice to you. Take advantage of talking to us, so that we'll be able to share more insights. So we have exactly 45 minutes to go. I will spend very little time in actually taking you through few of the slides. I mean, I didn't want to use the slides, but I would like to use the slides because we have large number of people, at least a basic information that I can actually provide you with. There you go. We will be, basically, we do this workshop for people who are impacted. We do it called Start Now workshop. Start Now is basically that, how do you start from now in terms of building your entire job search and what you need to do into the future. So I will directly get into few slides which are very, very important. One, the job market, which is very important that you need to know, right? Job market is not just that, you are just because you are searching, you are not found by somebody, So somebody else is also searching, but it is not, there's no guarantee that you'll be found by them. So it's like a two-way transaction where you need to make sure that you are able to provide information in the digital space or otherwise, so that the employers are able to look at your profile. They should reach your profile. The other way is also employers also makes whole lot of effort in terms of building and reaching to the job seekers. And it's a two-way market. There is no way that you can sit and, I just posted in some location and then, they will search for me. I think that will be the biggest mistake that you can ever do. Please never ever do that mistake, trying to be only on one source. The more number of sources, the more discovered that you are, right? It's like a buyers and sellers market. And how do you approach to your market? And then what are you selling is very important when you approach to your market. I will not get into some of the questions here because I would like to just spend time in, moving forward and speaking to you and your specific question and answers. Okay. So basically what exactly that you're selling, in a job market as a candidate is your skills. That's very important. And also the knowledge. And what comes with it is the experience. So these are three things that are very, very important. But how would you be measured is through your achievements and, how your personality, how you presented yourself. Of course, some of your qualifications, trainings, certifications, or anything that are important. But primarily, I would say that the kind of a skill, experience, and achievements, these are the ones which are going to be very, very important. And how you present yourself is going to be one of the very important aspect in the when you are actually trying to sell yourself as a product. Okay. And then what does employers look at? Someone who can do a job, which is in consideration. They may kind of list out some of the job profile that can you fit into that job. That's how they look at. And someone who wants to do the job. This is also very important because there are so many people who just apply. Unfortunately, what happens is today, the problem I can tell you, from the time the email has come or from the time the job portals, from the time the WhatsApps and everything has come, unfortunately, it is getting more difficult for employers. So you have to be very considerate on employer to be able to save their time so that they will be able to identify that, hey, I think you are the one who is willing to do this job. Okay. And also somebody who will fit into that job. So that's how they'll be looking at. Any recruiter or any recruiting manager who's actually hiring will look into these aspects as a primary. So I would like you to just focus on one thing which I asked you also. You also responded to this question is there is something called a transferable skill. Okay. What does it mean when you actually are left a company? You are actually left with your own skills, right? Your own skills. And these also can be used outside of your work, right? It is now, how can you use these skills, beyond what the job that you are doing is very important. So this is called transferable skill. So where this will help you to look at much more wider and broader focus of your job search. So this is very, very, very important. So in choosing skills to the market, it is important to consider both. One is what are you good at and what you like doing also. These two are things. But you also, one thing that you may really want to do immediately, before jumping onto your job search, you may want to ask your friends, colleagues, or managers, or whomever you work with, in the past, try and ask them that what are you good at? What do you think that they believe in you? I mean, what are the key things that they really look at that you are good at? Sometimes you may not appreciate certain good skills that you have, but when your friends and your colleagues really talk about it, it will always help you to understand how better that you can do. Chaitanya, please go ahead and allow them.
GR?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think some people are waiting in the room, GR. So if you can admit them, that will be better. If you can.
Oh, sorry. Is it with me now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just.
I'm sorry, participants. I think there are some people who are waiting, so wanted to let them in.
So I think so I'll say admit all. That's the easiest thing to save my time and rest of everything.
Yes, yeah.
So I'll keep this on. So just in case if anybody coming in, we will spend time. Okay, so this is something that I would like really you to really look at in terms of the transferable skills, which are very, very important for anyone. So check with your manager, check with your friends, check with your colleagues, that what do they think that you are good at. So what this will give you is an indication of how you can actually use these skills to widen your job search. So that's something that is very, very important for you, so that you are not just looking, just come out of a job and then start looking for a similar job. So one of the biggest challenge that India goes through. Okay, before that, let me just welcome all the participants who have come in just in. Um, we have just done a poll. We try to understand who are the team members here, and also we are spending some time on the job market and what do the employers look at and what does employee has to sell. And then we are talking about a transferable skill, which is basically the skills that can be utilized not just in the job in consideration that you have, but also elsewhere. So that means that it also gives an opportunity for more number of companies to search for. Okay, so it's like if I have an admin kind of a skill, just imagine where all it can be used. It can be used everywhere. Or if I just have internet searching skill itself, can be used anywhere, right? So you need to really identify how these skills can be utilized elsewhere. So this is what the transferable skills, really talks about. So you need to be very, very clear. Please make sure that you kind of list out your transferable skills, so that you actually plan accordingly and work accordingly. Okay, so I would like to just stop for a moment here. Would like to ask if any one of you have a question at this point of a time. It is important that since we have a smaller team, I can always take questions in between. Okay. Okay, so if you don't have a question, so probably then I'll just move to another slide. Okay. So one of the very important thing that you need to really focus when you are actually presenting your CV is make sure that you have all achievements are clearly written. And one thing that I would like to say, there are people who actually lost jobs because of the COVID impact. You don't need to worry that, I lost job and how do I search for a new job and all that, because see, it is not your fault, right? It is the environmental, issue. So everybody will understand. You don't have to feel sorry for yourself. You don't have to feel sorry that you lost the job and all that, because it is not your fault, or it is not because of your non-performance. If it is a non-performance, then I think we need to be very serious. But if it is not if it is you've been working well, but I think it is because of the impact of environment. Please do not worry too much about it. And focus more on your skills and achievements, because make sure that all your CVs are presented well in terms of achievements. And I would like to just spend few minutes on this slide, because this is very, very important, because most of us, we always think that job market, what we see is basically the tip of the iceberg. So this, I am sure it is applicable to everyone, right? Most of the times we use iceberg theory for everything. So here, what you see actual open market is basically the advertisement or recruitment agencies, or wherever it is posted outside, are actually many less compared to the actual job market, which is deep inside. So what will actually give you a success, let me tell you, is not the one that has been posted, not the one that you have identified, or not the one that you actually came across outside in the job market. So that's very important. So you must really spend time in actually going deeper and digging deeper in terms of your hidden market, which is down there. So what does the hidden market would really look at is the kind of a network and the direct approach that you actually make towards the companies. These are very, very important. This is just a sample. I'm sure this slide you should really remember that what you see is only 20%. What you don't see is 80%. So which one give you a job success is what you don't see. What you see is because everybody sees. So naturally what happens is, I'll give you an example. Yesterday I actually posted something on LinkedIn saying that I am looking for a franchisee. So advertise basically for a franchisee business owners. So that means it's very clearly written inside that you must have an ability to start your own, and you are willing to start your own. You must be able to invest. You must be able to build a team to be able to work with us as a unit partner. Okay, that was the actual advertisement. And do you know that there are like 300 people just applied, in a few hours. And if you see, none of them actually have gone through the job description there, what we actually looked at. In fact, we have written there saying that there is a link that I shared. You must read this before you apply. So that means nobody looks at really. So, the problem with the open market is that. And now, do you think that I'm going to really spend on those 300 profiles sitting and, wasting my time? I mean, rather it is getting really, really difficult for the employer. So you must appreciate that you are the only one who's searching for a job. Please remember, I mean, I remember writing a book about 7 years back saying that job holders, the person who's looking for a job, they're not under stress. Unfortunately, the employer is under stress because for one position, if you have 300 people, how much is the important time of organization that they're spending? Just think about this, right? Hence, you must be able to facilitate, help the employer to hire you. So that's where I think you need to look at not just only the open market, but you need to go deep dive into the network, deep dive into the direct approach, deep dive into the people who are hiring exactly and the hiring managers. This is very important. Two targets that you can look at. One, you can always target the HR manager who's actually hiring, the recruiting manager who's hiring. But again, please understand that they are inundated with thousands of resumes every day, right? So in that case, what happens is it is very difficult for you to make a mark in those thousands of profiles that comes in. Hence, the hidden job market is that, let's say in that company, the recruiter is doing a job, but there is somebody else is a hiring manager. HR is never a hiring manager, right? HR is a facilitation body. So hence what you need to look at is just look at who are the managers who are actually hiring this position. How do you find out? You go to LinkedIn, you search in there, even in the job site, in the company website. When you check also, you will find who are the top management, and look at those top management lists in your LinkedIn or anywhere profile, and probably you will actually get to them and try and connect with them. The network that is mentioned here in this specific thing is try and connect to those network people who actually can help you to give you some insights. But let me tell you that please do not make a mistake of on your LinkedIn or anywhere where you're positioning that I'm actually looking for a job right now. When you're connecting with them, please do connect with them only with an intention of an interaction, and also create a personality for yourself on the job market. So that's very, very important. So you need to go only when there is a specific job, when you know that there is a manager who's handling it. So that's one, could be a direct approach through a network when you actually identify a position in a company. But there is another way also that, one of the questions I asked you, that how many people that you can actually reach out to be able to help you. So I think that's also one of the important route, but please do not put your all eggs in one basket saying that, I sent to somebody that, they're going to look into it. It will never happen. You need to constantly remind them if they are very serious to help you. But if you find that they're not able to help you, or they're just not taking your call or not responding to you, do not disturb them so much. That's why you need to have more number of people, more number of network to be able to track into the future. So this is one thing that I thought is more important than anything else. Okay, so when you look at, there are a lot of these sites that are available where you can actually on the internet space, you can look at a lot of job boards which are available, like the Naukri, Monster, Indeed, Shine. There are so many. So probably one you can actually do is make sure that your profile is right, and look at which are the positions that you want to track, not only the current position to position, but also the jobs that you would like to have in alerts. Create those alerts into the job board so that you get to know which are the companies coming in. But when the companies are featuring, what I suggest you to do is just don't press a button and apply, because then you are one among 1,000. It makes no sense. What my simple advice is that if there is a related position in a company that is being advertised, or the companies that that these are the companies that I'm going to track, please make sure that the HR managers, recruiters, and the senior management in that company are tracked through the LinkedIn, and try and get to connect to them. Okay. And of course, there are recruiting agencies who are really struggling right now because of too many recruiters. And for companies also, what's happening is, the company's biggest challenge today is all recruitment agencies sends the same position, same person's profile. That's the biggest challenge. And then they're not able to decide who they should really take. And in the process, what's happening is, who's losing the opportunity is the candidate. So that's why, if you are able to, as much as possible, if you are able to directly connect to people who are responsible for filling that position, is the best. But it needs lots of preparation. It needs lots of patience, without really, jumping into and, start applying just because it one click of a button, you can apply for many jobs. Please do not make that mistake, and keep checking for the new job sites and also the company job corporate sites where, they post the jobs. But one thing you must remember, without connecting to anybody in that company, do not apply. Because what it really helps you is to understand what the company is, what they're doing, also monitor their progress of the company and the people who are inside the company, right? Because before you get an interview call or something, you need to do a lot more preparation. So I'm not going to spend more time on the post interview. Here I'm going to focus only on the job search side only right now. Okay. So as I said, there are a lot of job boards that are there, that you can actually use, and make sure that your application is very simple. Don't clock too much. Don't make too many pages of your profile. If you are more than 10 years, not more than 3 pages. And if you are anything less than 5 years, try to make sure that only 2 pages. But one suggestion I can tell you on a profile when you make is, just make sure the first page of profile captures the maximum information as a summary. Okay, this is one indication. That means that if you want to send it to somebody as a direct contact, nobody is going to look at all the 4 pages. You should be able to take the first page and send it to them. That's it, enough, because they will actually get a gist of it. If there is a response that comes in from, then you send the rest of the profile. And this is very specifically for people who are more than 5 years of experience, because more than 5 years of experience, 10 years of experience, you have a lot to write. And just because you have a lot to write, you can write, please do not write so much, but just focus on few things. Each company that you're representing, the designation, when you started, when it is ended, and if there is any changes in the designation, it's fine. Write 3 things inside the resume for each company. Is write the role. The role is, what impact are you making by being in that position to the company? Okay, my role is to help taking strategic decisions. My role is to execute, customer service requirements that comes in. So write just one line of a role. Then you write the key responsibilities, that you have. Don't write, like 10s and 20s. Just write not more than 4 or 5, the key responsibilities, role, 4 or 5 key responsibilities. And the other one is very important, as I mentioned earlier also, it's the achievements. Just write just only 1 or 2 achievements, which will talk about saying that, oh boss, you have spent so much of time in this company and this is the value that you created for the organization. So it becomes much easier for anybody to refer to your profile. That's all. Just make sure that. And if you have too many companies, suppose if you are a 10 years old, in terms of 10 plus years of experience, please do not list out the last. You will go reverse chronological order. You will start with the latest first, and accordingly you go. But in case if you are actually listing the last ones, let's say suppose what you worked in 2000 or 2010 or whatever it is, those can be just listed as a company and the role that you played or the designation. That's all. But take the top 3. The last top 3 must be explained in order, so that your number of pages it reduces. And in a summary, you can write what are the skills that you are good at. So that will be more than enough. So one tip that I can tell you, on the first page, what you can do is you can actually talk about your skills that your companies that you worked as. Maybe you can use logos or whatever it is, just the reference. Make a summary of about 5 to 10 lines and about 4 to 5 lines of overall achievements. That's it. So that what happens is, and then your contact number, etc., which is in your footer or in the header. And if you don't get time, or if you want somebody to spend little amount of time, you can only send that one snapshot to them. Rest everything will be a story. The storyline has to come in only when you get to the first stage and when people wanting to know more about you. So these are some of the very basics that I would like you to really focus. And one thing I would like to also talk about is that if you are able to identify the companies that you should target. One is maybe in the similar industry, but if you don't have the similar industries, what you can actually do is you can also look at just a second. I'm just admitting some more people who are still waiting. Okay, so if you are able to spend some time in listing out the companies that you would like to target, that will be nothing like it, because it will reduce your funnel. Because there is so many companies, you have to have a funnel. You have a whole lot of universe. You just can't go and search in the universe. What you should know is the companies that you can get into, the companies that you would like to get into, or maybe your skills are available that you can actually help those companies by your skills. Then I think take that list, prepare that list, make sure that all the connections of LinkedIn, etc., in terms of HR manager, non-HR managers, or the hiring managers, try to get connected to them is one go. Then also look at what the job positions that have come up in the recent past, and so that you will actually have some kind of a data before you actually approach to them. And based on each of the company, please start looking at some kind of a research in terms of what have they achieved in the recent past, how did it impact COVID with them, whether it's impacted or not impacted. If it is not impacted, then I think there's an opportunity for you to present yourself. So even if you list out 40 of the companies, 20 of them would have actually got impacted by COVID to 100% or maybe 10%. And some companies you must list at this point of a time. Very specifically, my advice is that you must list companies that are not impacted and how your skills can be utilized into that company. This is one of the most important things that you need to do in terms of the inputs that I've been sharing. Your focus has to be on the other side of people who can take your services, who can use your skills, the companies who have not been impacted so much by the industry. Okay, so I would like to stop here, and I would like to say we will share with you some of the a job portal that we created only for people who have got impacted. You can go back and register yourself there, and maybe we will actually circulate that to many of the companies. We are doing it more as a our social responsibility. We are reaching out to as many companies that are hiring. So if you are able to submit yourself into our job portal, This is only created now. So we will actually take this job database, work with them, make sure that some of the positions that they may be able to hire through us. So look at that as one of the options, but you must have lots of other options for yourself. So I would like to stop here and would like to ask if you have any questions that you have. I would like to rather answer to your questions so that it is more easier for others and also easy for me, because I can actually start relating. And right now I was able to, based on the inputs that you have given, I have actually shared some key inputs which are important at this point of a time, but more I can actually share it with you if you would like to ask any questions. Anyone who would like to? If you just do an unmute, so I will know here, I will take the name so that we can spend time on talking to you. Anyone, you have a question? Please go ahead and unmute. Yeah, Abhinav, go ahead, Abhinav. Can you unmute? And Sundar Raman, would you like to talk?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I met you in Hyderabad in MTHR group in your office itself. So
that's what I was wondering. Somebody is very familiar.
I have come to your office and we had a meeting there, and there was a birthday celebration also of one of my friends there on that day.
Excellent. Oh yeah, I remember.
So,
but quite a number of years, Sundaram.
Yeah, it was in 2014 or 15, I think, maybe 5 years back.
Oh my God. So it's quite a long.
Arvind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Arvind was the person who celebrated his birthday.
Celebrated birthday, yes.
He was the person who introduced me to MTHR.
Sure.
See, actually, myself, I retired from Larsen & Toubro, L&T construction in HR field in April this year. So I'm also on the lookout for options outside of L&T now. But more importantly, I would like to help my friends who worked with me in my earlier companies and who have unfortunately lost their jobs due to them being on a contract basis in companies like Cognizant and other places. They have given notice to them. So how
Sure.
they also want to ask me, they were asking me as to how we can approach companies. What would you suggest like that? In that connection,
Okay.
I'd like to just ask you as to how they can go about it.
Yeah, so one thing that what you can do is, Sundar Raman, after this session is done, I will send you the link for this session. Probably you should share it with them. Let them go through at least some basic idea, because we can't spend time with everybody, okay? They will get some basic idea. And the other what you can do is, one thing that you can do is, as I said, we will share with you the job site link on the chat. Naresh or somebody, if you can just mention the job link. So people can actually click there and submit their profiles. Sundaraman, you can ask them to submit their profiles there. So what we are trying to do is, we have some connection with I think end of the day, there are a lot of MSMEs who are actually building organizations at this point of a time. Every downturn, we have seen that some companies goes out of the business, but some companies emerge as the bigger one. And we are watching them. We are been working with such companies, growing companies all the time. So what we're going to do is, we're going to present this data to them. So the easiest way, but this is only one source, but I'm sure there must be, searching for other source, but it's a very noble cause that you have really, thank you so much for coming here. I think it is a multiplier effect, because if I'm talking to you, I think it is reaching to, a couple of other people also who's going to help. So we will try our best. We're trying to reach, we have a reach about 600 to 700 MSMEs, business owners. We only deal with the business owners. So we will share the data with those business owners, whoever is joined in this call, or who is going to submit their resumes there. Probably we will be one of the source. So probably that can be one best way, Sundaram.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Abhi, are you?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Hi,
yes.
You're looking good, by the way.
Along with you, right?
Yeah,
you can't be, getting older.
yeah, yes, sir. I must say it's a really nice initiative by you in order to take our many of our profiles and through your newly created job portal and to showcase it to the business, that is the MSMEs and the other companies. Now, the people like me, who have had a recent gap in our CV. Now, because some of the companies are very particular that we should be currently working the job experiences have to be related in the same line and same industry. Don't you think even the company should be a little broad-minded in having a little humanitarian approach in order to accept people from different other industries, but who may have a similar skill sets? But just because they are not in the same line or industry, they are missing out.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can throw some light.
So I understand, Abhi, because everybody has their own pressure. Okay.
Yeah, and some
As I
of us
told
have
you.
a multi-industry experience as well.
Oh,
And
yes, yes, yes.
yeah, some of the
So
companies
see,
are yeah.
one thing you have to understand that they are not your relative, and they're
Yeah.
not your brother, they're not your sister, they're not
Yeah.
your closest colleagues, right?
Yeah.
So for them, they don't know who you are. Okay.
Okay.
So I think
Yeah.
the very important thing, especially when there is a gap, is
Mhm.
you cannot go through a normal open job market, because
Mhm.
in the job open market, I told you that there are so many profiles coming in, they get confused. So it is
Yeah.
not a question of they don't want to take you, they don't want to consider these people, but it is just because they are inundated with so much of resumes that they don't know how to really evaluate your skill. Okay.
Okay.
In such case, specific to your question, I think it is very important that you must go the direct way. Network directly with the job, whoever is the recruiting managers, the HR, or the actual hiring manager. Hiring manager is the one who's a process owner or the functional manager who is actually hiring these resources, right?
Or
So
someone in the organization should know us to vouch for us and introduce
so
us to
that is only
the
one way. So don't
Okay.
just focus only on that. If you know somebody, there is no guarantee that they are going to be accepted, right? So
Okay.
that is only one way, but the other way is that you directly get in touch. Today there are many ways that you can get in touch with specific the hiring managers, right? Through your LinkedIn connect, get to your known sources. Take a time, just take few minutes, to go and speak to them. Just allow them to speak, but don't say that you are, so I'm actually going to ask for a job, hence I need to get connected, then nobody really would like to. So that's the biggest mistake that one should not do when you're job search. Even though inside you are looking for a job, but outside I think you need to pretend that you are wanting to get back and talk to them and find out, seek an advice. So when you actually seek an advice, people are more open to spend time with you,
Yeah.
because it's an ego, right? I'm
Yeah.
actually trying to help somebody or whatever. But if you ask somebody, oh yeah, this person has come to ask me. So just make sure that these are fundamentals that you focus, and more focus on networking and talking to them personally, individually. When you have a set of target clients, target companies that you want to reach, then I don't think then you should worry about whether they're not taking and all. I think we should not uh, attribute that negative thing to them.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to, because they wants to save their jobs by recruiting people faster,
Yes.
right? So in my career, I have never gone through that 100%. I could never do recruitment on time. I mean, that's my life, and I'm sure it is true to everybody, except in one case where the airline could not fly if I don't have a avionic person. So except in some very mission critical conditions, otherwise I think rest of them are not really mission critical, right? So just keep that in mind, right?
Yeah,
Thank
but what
you.
is happening is even if we reach out to the recruiter, there are thousands of us, thousands of guys like me who reach out to a recruiter either through LinkedIn or directly. And again, the recruiter is flooded with so many CVs.
Yeah, so you must
So,
appreciate how what the trauma that he goes through. So you need to help them to help to hire you. So that's why I remember my first job book title was "Help Me to Hire."
okay.
So the pressure is not on you; the pressure is on the other side. I'm sure Sundar Raman Garu will also say that he has gone through his entire life, up to retirement, But I'm sure it is a big challenge because you are one, and there are many for the recruiters. So just we have to appreciate their efforts. Okay, thank you, Abhi. Anybody else? I can actually take a question. You have anything specific that you want us to ask? And while we are actually waiting for somebody to ask question, I would also like to say that please do have a mentor for yourself in the process. A mentor can somebody who has a broader understanding of the businesses, right? And who can actually guide you into your journey. So it's always good to have a career mentor, not just that you're looking for a job now, but even otherwise. So this is always helpful for you to be able to sustain your ability of growth into the future. Dharmendra, would you like to ask a question? Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I am perfectly fine. My question to you is that not from the recruitment point of view, I'm just looking at what kind of, as a HR professional, what kind of HR project in the present scenario of COVID, since as you know that jobs are very rare now and every day people are losing jobs. But this is an opportunity also for some HR professionals, some experienced HR professionals to do some kind of HR projects. What
Very
kind
good.
of
Yeah.
projects do you think will come in this present circumstances?
Okay, you asked a question which actually puts me into a very sad situation. The reason being that as a young entrepreneur at the age of 30, I saw a very huge opportunity of MSMEs and the HR opportunity with the growing MSMEs, right? And unfortunately, it has grown after 18 years, 5 times, and I could not really achieve. Okay, so that gives you an indication of a huge, massive white space, Dharmendra, in terms of the HR opportunities. If you are able to be in touch with the MSME business owners, those who don't have the HR department per se, because there are a lot of companies, let me tell you, there are 66 million MSMEs in the country, and 99.9% of them don't have even an HR function, but some of them may be actually beyond 100 people also. I think that will be your target, to be able to provide whatever you have learned in your past experience. You can actually give the best efforts and best support to those companies, because one thing that will happen is the business owners take a decision very quickly. It's not a recruiting process. So this is another opportunity that you to be independent, or it's an entrepreneurial opportunity that you seek business with people who are business owners. So they understand and appreciate quite a bit. Does that give you some indication, Dharmendra?
Yeah. I think
Right?
the data you shared just now, that 66 million, and then 99.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I think this is where the opportunity lies. If you can.
And unfortunately, if you are an HR person, Dharmendra, I would like to really say that our HR teams have not really looked at, from a business point of view, the opportunity that HR has in the country, just in the country. Millions of opportunities are untouched even till today. The reason being that HR persons are always looking for an HR job. So, where do you have an HR job? Those who are already organized, those who have an HR department. But the companies who don't have HR departments are many. So I would like you to urge you to really go ahead with that. There are 2-3 things that I would like to mention here, because this is the time not just for looking for a job. Your career transition also can happen with, moving into setting up your own consulting or your company. This is the right time. And what you need to do is the same amount of skills and the opportunities that you look at, create an opportunity in that space and target those companies. Go back and don't ask for a job today. Ask for saying that, hey, I have this skill. Can I actually deliver something for you, on a very short term, so that, he's not scared that the liability. See, employment is always a liability for any business. What happens if I can't pay them, etc. But if it is something that you can offer as a service for a shorter duration, because now I think the future is going to be on the gig working. That means that you pick up small projects, finish it off, go to another projects. And over a period of actually doing this, you will be able to build more value than today. Today, you may be doing as building your portfolio, right? Don't look at it as though you're earning money from the first projects. So offer that and see that, take that as a first base to go to another person to talk about, hey, this is how I done. This is the customer testimonials for me, and go ahead. That's another one way to do it. The second way is also starting your own business. Starting your own business is independently, you start a business is one, but also there's an opportunity that you can be associated with brands which are already existing. So there is, franchising is a very big business. So maybe it can be related to services. There are a lot of companies who are providing franchising services through franchisees. So maybe there is no risk there. It means that because there is always a business which the company has done, and now they wanted to expand to the next level. Hence, they need not just employees, but they need the business people who can take that business to the next level. So the second opportunity is setting up your own or collaborate with a brand that you can work with. So that's another way to look at Dharmendra.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for the great advice.
Pleasure. Thank you. And all the best to you. Okay, any other questions, Abhishek? You're
Yes.
unmuted, so yeah, go ahead,
Hello.
Abhishek.
Hi, I'm
Hi, Abhishek.
Abhishek. I'm a physiotherapist and I'm 23-year-old and I'm looking for a job. So actually my concern is about CV. How to make a CV eye-catchy and to impress HR or recruiters.
So you are a physiotherapist. I quickly can think about, I keep encountering a lot of challenges in the sports area. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I'm a sports physio only, sir. I was working at Harkishan Das Reliance Foundation in Mumbai.
Okay.
Yep.
So what I suggest you is, Abhi, don't worry about, how to make your beautiful CV, right? As I said, the first page should contain your summary of what you have done and your achievements and your basic skill set and where you work. That's it. Okay. Don't worry too much about it, right? But I think you should be able to get in touch with the companies who are actually providing such services. You must list it out, and there are very less actually. If you see, there are very less number of profiles who are actually companies who are actually hiring that kind of people. And also many a times they also will not have a job, but they can also be associated with the company, right? Physiotherapist company who are working with athletes and all. Also, there are a lot of foundations which are working towards the betterment of sports. So probably you should approach the foundations who are improving grassroots level or at a high level. There are a lot of companies, foundations who are working towards that. You can approach them very specifically. And more importantly, there are schools which are coming up with very specific related to sports in the country. And I think one of the very important criteria for are you from, not just only in the city that you are existing, but also if you can actually go around the country. I think that's going to be very key. And you being a young person, I think you should take this opportunity. Wherever the opportunity calls you, I think you should go there. So there are a lot of schools who are very focused on sports related curriculum and sports related companies. I know there are a couple of companies who actually invested in excess of 100 crores in just a school, which can actually produce the future stars in sports. So probably you should go to them and check with them. Probably you'll get more opportunities, I would say, Abhishek.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. And there are a lot of people who are on LinkedIn as well. Please do get connected in the sports arena, and I'm sure you will find it. It's actually a small, small narrowed down industry, but I think it is more easier for you to actually be able to reach out to them. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else who has questions? So probably we can go. We just have 4 minutes to go to wind up this session. Okay, so while this is on, I would like to recap what I'm saying is try and look at the positions which are not open, which are hidden market that you need to target, and try and target the number of companies that you can list out from your own list, and also seek some support from others to identify the list of companies. Try and get to connect people who are in those companies and talk to them. Don't just say that, hey, do you have a job? If you get connected to somebody, please just talk to them saying that, hey, I would like to know about your company. That's it. I'm sure you will get so much of, data about the company and the people who can influence the positions in that company. Then approach to those individuals. Again, do the same trick of actually talking to them. Probably, you can actually build a network. Okay. A network is built over a period of time, but please don't build a network just because I'm looking for a job and I'm going to disconnect by tomorrow. If that is the attitude, you will also transfer in your body language, in your voice, in your dealing with them. So hence, please don't ever do that. So try to genuinely wanting to be in touch with the companies that you want to get into always, if not today, tomorrow, or the people whom you want to be associated, so that if not today, they will be able to help you down the line, in another few years. So just keep an open mind and do a network. Look at not just only a job as an opportunity. Starting your own is also a career transition opportunity. Look at what are the skills that you can actually offer. Look at the white space market, which is a small, mid-sized enterprises in the country and in your local location. I think that is very, very, possible that you can look at. And also look at franchising as a model, because the companies are going to give you with an investment, because already they built some model. It is always good to invest some money so that you don't have to reinvent their journey, but you start from there to a next level. I think that is one of the very important aspects. Naveen has asking a question. I'm not sure whether we can ask here for a franchisee model of Husys, what kind of a investment is required. Okay, Naveen, if you go to our website, there is a specific site. Naresh or somebody, can you just post that link, franchise.husys.com. You'll be able to find some details. So our objective is that we have spent 18 years, and we don't want anybody who associates with us should not spend 18 years to reach this stage. Rather, help us, whatever the growth that we have achieved in 18 years can be achieved in next 2 years. And that is what we are looking at for people who has a zeal. And we have tried and tested our models. We have tried and tested our, and we have survived. We have survived a huge number of downtowns in the market, right? And that's why, so the knowledge will be useful. See, our franchiseship is that we charge a one-time fee of 2 lakh rupees for actually starting up, but also it will require another 1 lakh rupees or 1.5 lakh rupees for an investment for the 6 months runway, where you actually start. We don't want anybody who don't want to build a company. We want anybody who associates with Husys must build a company. That means they must hire a resource, one on sales, one on operations. So we train on sales, we train on operations, so that you must be first sales guy, basically, because you need to focus only on sales in the future. Even if you are an HR person, I would still say that initially you deliver, but we don't want you to deliver long-term, because you are building an organization and a capacity, right? We want such people to associate with Husys, so that for the 18 years of growth, we would like to achieve in the next 2-3 years. So that's the inputs for you, Naveen. I think that's how the franchisee should help. Franchisees should help. If you start alone, it may take 3 years for you to reach a certain stage. But if you start with the franchising, you may do it to achieve it in 6 months or 1 year. So that's the overall idea. If I don't have any questions, the franchising thing is pasted there. You can click there and go through. And also, did we post the link for the job boards, or we will send it to your email ID where you actually registered? We will send it to you through an email ID. You can submit your resume. So we will do our best to try and as much reach as that we can go to those 600, 700 MSMEs. We don't know. You may become luckier by actually having more number of times that we flash. Okay, it's like all of us trying together becomes more luckier. That's what I would say. Okay, thank you so much.
I have one question here.
Yes, Abhinav. Yes,
one
Abhinav.
last question.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, there are a few people who say that you have to keep your CV, what should I say? We have a social side, we have a professional CV. Now, these days, the boundaries are getting blurred. That is, there is a blending of the social with professional. Now, knowing you would say that there's no harm in actually showcasing your name and a photo on the CV, wherein we also can keep a LinkedIn link as well on the CV. But there are some people who say that you shouldn't be keeping your photo, you shouldn't be mentioning your full name. Is it fine if you mention a full name on the CV? Because we may get traced on Facebook and Twitter and all. And what if the recruiters come to some other conclusions about us?
Yeah. So I think the peril of social media is if you are not managing your personal brand very much. So probably I think this will raise one question to all of you is also, that go back and check all your Facebook postings and LinkedIn postings, wherever you're posting on the internet, search for your name, look at wherever you are. If you have posted anything which is controversial, which is actually having an abusive language, or maybe you're abusing somebody or something, just start deleting all of those wherever possible, so that, you need to have your personal brand, intact, because everybody is going to look at your personal brand before even actually they call you. Even if you approach somebody to direct network, I will actually see whether should I really deal with him, because if I'm sensitive to political views, if I'm sensitive to certain gender views, if I'm sensitive to certain things, probably I would avoid. So it is always important for you to be able to balance your.
Yeah.
So you can't avoid that,
No, that
Abhinav.
is one aspect.
You have no choice. You have
Yeah,
no choice.
that I got. Yeah, that I got. No, but specific to me, let's say, for example, I have indulged in some ads and all where I've acted as a model and actor, as you know. Now, what happens is, my query is, I don't want corporate to come to a conclusions that maybe I'm full-time in it, or that profile is different, and that I may not be serious in applying, just because
So
they find
corporate,
me on Facebook.
Abhinav, for you, my sincere advice is corporate is many people.
Okay.
So my advice for you is only you have to be interacting with one-to-one, and I don't think these perceptions can be avoided there. So that because you are in one-to-one contact and direct network. Direct network is the only option for you. But rest of them, I'm sure they are very generic profiles, into the other profession. You have a very specific profile you need to deal with based on your personal profile and how you would really like to present yourself. Okay, that's very important. Okay, thank you so much. Akshay, do you have anything to ask, or did I see anyone raising a question? Okay, so that's all. Akshay, I think you're on mute in case if you're talking.
Gio, can you send the recorded link of the session?
Yes, we will send it back to you. Sure. Thank you. Akshay, yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, my name is Akshay. I completed mechanical engineering, sir.
Okay.
So I've done 2-3 years experience in mechanical designing field, sir.
Okay.
Last this January, I have completed my contract engineering, that's mechanical engineering.
Wishing you all the best, all the luck, and please do reach out us for any help, and our teams will be happy to help you. And as much that we can do, maybe we may not be able to do personal coaching or efforts, but if you are able to put in the job site, we will be trying and working hard to reach as many people as possible, as many industries. So we actually work with many industries, so definitely we would like to help with many industries. Thank you so much. See you all. Bye-bye.